Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 to my Scrag Guards Bitz box challenge. I'll show you what I've been up to and how far I've come. So this is actually how far as I've gotten. I'll start off with the Balrog here. You see, so there's a decent amount of work done on him, I guess. You can actually see the shape coming in now. Yeah, you can see that he looks a bit more like a squig and a Balrog mixed together. You'll see I kind of added some texture into the mouth here just to make it a little bit more interesting. That's just with hot glue gun, and there's a wee bit on the top there as well, if you can tell, just a little bit of ribbing to make it look less bland. Then on the top here I did the same thing with the hot glue gun to kind of put some texture on and strengthen up the horns, and the horns were just wire and then paper stuck on with PVA and super glue to kind of add the shape and then built over. Now, it's not exactly like lined up here. Honestly, that doesn't really bother me. I could fix it with a wee bit of a tissue and build it up with putty or whatever, but I'm not really too bothered. And then even the back here, this is just rolled up tissue with PVA and water to kind of add the texture instead of, you know, using a rake of putty. I just think it's cheaper and it looks just as good. So on a bigger model, like I can always go in with some after if I want to. Now this is kind of the situation I'm at here. We're kind of figuring out the face to mix it together, so it's going to be squiggy as well. That's why the teeth are going to be all kind of random. Like you have a massive one here, a smaller one here, you know, all sorts. But then also to make it look like the Balrog at the same time with the. He's kind of got a skeleton-like, you know, classic skull, I guess, you know, human skull, skeleton nose, or lack of nose, I suppose, where the hole is kind of two holes. You see when it's done, like the nostrils, we'll say, without all the cartilage on it. And these are just placeholders now, these little eye things, they look a bit goofy. I'm not really sure, maybe I'll go super small eyes or something like this. I might just make them out of green stuff for that. But yeah, going pretty strong so far. I mean, there's a bit of weight in it as well with all the glue, the hot glue and that. But pretty happy with him so far, and I'll build up the PVA and stuff like this. Now the teeth, I'm not really super sure. I could make them out of the PVA and tissue and then coat them in, we'll say, milliput. I might just do that because I was going to make them out of super sculpty, but I'll see. I'm not super comfortable with using super sculpty yet, but anyway, yeah, you can see like it's pretty squiggy looking. And then I've only recently kind of for wings, I don't know how comical to make, like, or how small to make the wings for, you know, the comic effect, because to make it, obviously he's not going to be flying around. I don't think even in the movie or the books the Balrog actually flew. It was just more for look. But yeah, if you can imagine the two of them on, and then there's the whole thing of dealing with how am I going to do the flames effect down his back, even a wee bit. I suppose I could do it with kind of fur and just paint it like flames. But yeah, these are just wire over paper, and I think it was the label off some clothes, because instead of just actual paper, you know, from printer or that, there's a little bit more strength in it and it won't rip. And this is just blue tack to secure it a wee bit. I have to put super glue over that and maybe some PVA and water with tissue to strengthen them again after I get the shape right, and then I can just pop them in then when this is all dry. And yeah, it's coming together pretty nicely. And then what do we got? This guy maybe left behind a wee bit. For the longest time I wasn't sure which hand carried which thing, like the sword and the staff, and I really didn't want to get it wrong, so I think that's right now. But yeah, you can see I built up his hat with some, this is just, I drilled into his head and wire out of his head as a base, and then this is just some paper strengthened with some PVA and super glue as the rim of the hat there to have something to build on, basically. Maybe I could have put the green stuff on it first and then put it on. That would probably be a smart idea. Fuck it, I'll know for next time anyway. But yeah, and then trying to get the pose right. I was going to reposition his legs, but I didn't think that, like, to kind of more of a stance like this rather than one of them being bent. But I think with the robes over, I don't think it'll make that much difference, and I'm not sure whether to sculpt the robes on before I attach the arms. So it's kind of up in the air, but and then the beard is going to be a big thing as well. I think I might make that like really, really big and full, just because, you know, fuck it, like it's for fun. And there's the problem of he's fucking, because he's really front heavy with the massive metal head. It's really out of scale, but whatever, you know, he's okay sometimes. I don't know how to weigh, like I don't have anything to weigh down the back of his base. That wouldn't look stupid, we'll say. Like, I don't want to stick a bolt right there because it won't look well. Unless I made it look like a rock, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure that bit out. But anyway, then last of all, this guy. So I'm kind of all over the place. This guy's all stuck together. Kind of like a bobblehead, I guess. And yeah, his face, I did like a lot of... He's nearly done with his riveting on his face. And I left the jaw motion in because I just think he's awesome. I attached it on there. He's got, yeah, a wee bit more riveting to do here. Pretty happy with the pose. The smoke isn't stuck on yet because I'm not sure how I want to do that or how much I want to put on. But yeah, and even with the little wire connecting to his head here, I went with just a spring from, geez, I think it was a pen or something, just to keep the theme up with the whole thing, you know what I mean? And just some green stuff there to connect it after wiring them. And this is from, I don't know, some gauge from a little broken speaker or something like this. Like that. I think I broke that open. It was broken already, don't worry, I didn't just break it because I saw the nice gauge or whatever you call that stuff. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't have my spray with me or anything to get him going. Even if after I do the rivets, I don't have my spray with me to paint them up, which I'm kind of dying to do. I'm not sure whether to drill a hole, even a tiny hole for the flamer, or not. I suppose it's not really necessary, but I don't know. But yeah, you can see his pose is kind of good for 28mm. He'd be like right in their face, scale wise, you know. That's another orc I was working on there a while ago that I kind of got stuck with. He's meant to be sneaking, and going, you know, put it over his mouth. He's meant to be a commando. That's why he's got the Splinter Cell looking goggles from a Cromlech kit or something. Could have even been a Chinese Cromlech kit, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, he's a commando and he's got a big fancy knife. But anyway, so he's meant to be like tiptoeing. But geez, okay, I'm getting distracted already. Yeah, that's the situation anyway. Then, so he's nearly done, which is sweet. And then I was getting distracted by something else, which I'm sure a lot of people have as well. And then had the idea of, so Overwatch is pretty freaking big. It's a pretty awesome game. So I was like, who's the most... I was playing a lot of Overwatch anyway. Junkrat's awesome. And I was like, he's orky as fuck. So the idea of a Junkrat kind of grot. I was going to do an orc in the first place, but you know, Junkrat orc, but I think the grot is better. And then you could do a big massive orc roadhog with the big belly, and this shoulder pad roadhog has is freaking awesome. It's so orky. The tire with the spikes is just an awesome idea. I might have to rob that. Even if I don't make this guy, I'll have to rob that. And then the idea of the spring squig, which is a big kilocan dreadnought type thing, that I could use this for. And I actually found this on the street and I was like, okay, it's meant to be. I didn't rob it from a child, don't worry. Basically his legs and his tail are connected with springs, so it's just chaos really. A big massive maw and weapons. But that's it. Like, I mean, I'll try to stick with the Belrog and that for now to get them done. But so many ideas, man. So many ideas. This is a great competition. Scrag Guard, thanks for making this, man. Like, I do this stuff usually, but to have a reason to post them all is really a good idea. And I think it's... fuck's sake. I think it's great for the community. So yeah, cheers, man. And I will have an update up possibly next week. See ya.